Hey there. Hey. Welcome to Spain, the sequel. What? Made a sequel to Spain? Sure does look like from where I'm hiding at the moment. Um, Sort of looks like a planet. Planet of Spain. It's exactly what we're going to be reading today. The long-awaited Chapter 2. Isn't that sick? Added my own sound effects in. Oh no, we're a little bit too far ahead. Where is that pesky bookmark? Well, that's Napoleon Bonaparte. We're not even close to Bonaparte yet. Oh, right. Chapter 2. Mountains, coasts, and plains. Not the ones in the sky, but the ones that usually have grass in it. Covering more than 190 square miles, or nearly 5/6 of the Iberian Peninsula. Mainland Spain is the second largest country in Western Europe, just like your mother, and almost 4 times the size of the state of New York, just like your mother. A little more than 4,000 additional squares are added by the Canary Islands and the Balearic Islands, just like your mother, and 5 places of urgency along the coast of Morocco. Your mom is not an island chain, but she is quite the size of one. Small. On a flat map, the shape of the country is neither unusual nor memorable. Just like my YouTube channel, but it is unusual. It is kind of memorable. Some say it resembles the hide of a bull stretched to dry in the sun. I'd rather not say that about my channel. On a topographical map, however, the sculpted terrain is unique and beautiful, unlike the hide of a bull that has been stretched to dry in the sun. Sorry. I kind of got in the moment. Huh. Where was I? Much of Primrose country is distinguished by high mountain ranges, rugged outcroppings, cliffs, and magnificent escarpments. Just like my bedroom. I'm kidding. It's not Spain. It's Spain everywhere. Just like Tuesday. Notable is the fire range chain, which runs east and west from the Bay of Biscay to the Mediterranean. The fire range is topped by the 11,168-foot Pico de Anato, serves as a more formidable barrier between Spain and France. That's what I like to call a very Spain moment. Where was I? How long does this run? How long is this? Okay. Oh, okay. One moment. Okay, and I'm back. For no reason at all, I swear. Okay. Alright, second page. The geographical regions. A geographical tour of Spain usually has 5 principal regions. Westridge also has 5 principals, I think. The Cantabrian zone includes the Basque provinces, Galicia, and Asturias. This is an area of high, craggy mountains and deep valleys with many forests, fertile fields, and abundance of water. I do like water. Some peaks have been described as nests of eagles perching in the clouds. There are gaunt outcroppings of granite and volcanic rock formed centuries ago throughout the Caldera Cantabrica or Cantabrian Mountains, which have peaks from 7,000 feet to more than 8,500 feet along the Atlantic Bay of Biscay. Much of the shoreline is made up of high cliffs drooping into the sea. With a backdrop of mountains inland, transportation in the most mountainous sections is difficult in one stretch of railroad. For example, there are 22 tunnels and 21 miles. That's a lot of miles. Just like the car. Beep beep. God, I can't wait till I start editing videos. The firing zone lies to the east of the Cantabrian. It features the Firings Mountains, which stretch some 260 miles from the Bay of Biscay to the Mediterranean Sea. Although the Firings range is quite narrow, averaging 60 miles wide, its central portion is well over 500 feet high. The entire upland area receives abundant rain and snow. However, much of the water runs off in the deep gorges and is difficult to divert for irrigation. The provinces of the Firings region are Navarre, Aragon, and Catalonia. Navarre, at the western end, is a land of vast hardwood forests. Just unlike my dining room, it is hardwood flooring. The hardwood on top and the Spain is like trees, but it can still be used as flooring. Okay. Sorry, I got a Discord ping. Beep. Where was I? Where the mountains torrents are used to power hydroelectric plants. In Aragon, the southern slopes of many highest mountains land broad to arid plains drained by the Ebro River. Catalonia has many pine-covered mountains and fertile plains, since the zone lies along the French border, where many invaders have tried to cross Spain over the centuries. When the invaders cross. Many towns here have monuments and relics of their fierce battles. I remember I was there. The Meseta and the interior zone make up almost half of the mainland of Spain. This vast central plateau sits at an elevation of 2,000 to 2,500 feet. The terrain is flat for the most part, generally arid and somewhat barren, and can be extremely hot in the summer months, unlike Miami. It's still hot, but it's Miami. The Castilian tableland was the center of life for the ancient kingdoms of Leon, Old Castile, New Castile, La Mancha, and much of the countryside is as little as populated today as it was centuries ago. The houses of isolated villages and towns seem to be huddled together, and the communities are separated by vast stretches of desolate plains. Here's a photo. That's the houses, and that's, I believe, the desert, and those are the words, and this is the book. That's a wall, by the way. That's a window. Chair, pillow, and me. Where was I? The Castilian tableland was the center of life for the ancient kingdoms of Leon, Old Castile, New Castile. Okay, I read this. The Andalusian zone, close to the south, includes the cities of Seville, Cordoba, Granada, more like Canada, along the Mediterranean. It has stretches of coastal plain with many beaches and inlets, sort of like Miami. but it's more beach. I like Miami. I'm actually thinking about moving to there when I'm at least, let's say like 40 something. Hopefully Airbnb is around by 2047. So I heard that Airbnb actually gives you some pretty good perks if you live in a permanent Airbnb. I bookmarked an Airbnb tab on my personal Chromebook. That's my sound system right here. I use only the funniest of jokes. Tee. Inland, comma, it consists of rolling hills, fertile valleys, and tall mountains, some of which are permanently capped with snow. No cap. Bog. The climate is distinctly Mediterranean in the indulgent lowlands, where it has come to see palm trees, just like Miami. Bougainvillea. I don't even know if that's a word. Fields of tobacco, just like Miami. And sugarcane or olive groves. I went to Olive Garden a couple weeks ago. Winters are mild and somewhat rainy. Summers are sunny and dry and usually hot, just like Miami. But it's beach. I like Miami. The most changeable weather conditions occur in the spring and fall, when cloudbursts drop torrents of rain over small areas at a time. Like a shower, but outside. Levant is the east coast along the Mediterranean Sea. It runs from the Valencia south to the Alicante and the Murcia, ending near Almeria and the Cape Gata. The southern eastern seacoast of Spain is known as the Coast Blanca, or the White Coast. It's pretty racist, because there's no Black Coast. I'm sorry, that was my impression of a girl with blue hair who thinks they can just change their gender at will and be like, oh, I'm a girl? Now I'm a group of people. 74 of them exactly. Also, I'm black, even though my skin complexion is whiter than your mom's wallpaper. Which mine is like a tan. See, look, matches my skin. Where the mountains come right down to the sea. In the southern section, particularly, are numerous fine white beaches, resorts, and harbors. One of the best being Cartagena, just like Miami. Known as the rice bin, unlike Miami, of Spain, the Levant is the source of much of the rice eaten in Spain, as well as those famous Valencia oranges and other citrus fruits. These crops depend almost entirely upon irrigation, more like segregation, unlike Miami. It's pretty funny. I think that's really hilarious in my opinion. I'm not homophobic, but I don't think women should be voted into office. My personal opinion. The regions where they're grown lack the necessary rainfall, and the water has to be transported from distant streams into mountain cascades. The most essential feature for agriculture along the Levantine coast is its dependable abundance of sunshine for the plants. The rivers of Spain. Not Egypt. Spain. Ugh. Spain has some 1,800 rivers and streams, but Most of them are less than 50 miles long and are rocky beds during the dry season. Only two major rivers in Spain are more than 550 miles. Wow, that's a lot of water I can drink. I won't drink all of it though. What are the fish gonna eat? The Tagus, which cuts through the heart of the central Meseta, and the Ebro, another reference to the Ebro River, which parallels the Pyrenees in the northeast. Many attempts have been made to use these rivers and streams for irrigation, much like segregation, in the more parched regions of the country. But the problem has always been the great variation in the flow of the most rivers, ranging from floods during the rainy seasons to complete evaporation during the dry periods. The tag is almost 600 miles long, has its origins, say, in the eastern Spain. I'm rapping. It drains the central plateau as it heads westward, crossing into Portugal, and eventually emptying into the Atlantic Ocean. It has a broad estuary. For a short distance, it forms parts of the Spanish-Portuguese border. Not far from where it rises in the mountains, the Tagus passes Toledo and irrigates crops. More like segregates crops. In the Meseta, the Tagus is navigable. I know how to say navigation, but navigable, I don't even know. For less than 100 miles of its length. However, it passes through deep gorges where it's broken by waterfalls. It has great potential for hydroelectric power. The Ebro River collects both its water from the Cantabrian Mountains for small tributaries in Aragon, Catalonia, and Navarre as it flows southeastward between the Pyrenees and the Iberian mountain ranges. And we'll stop right there and see how many pages we have left. Okay, so that means we got like 1, 2, 3, 4 until we reach the end of chapter 3. And we're going at 17 minutes and it's getting pretty stuffy in here. I don't know if it's me or if it's getting hot in here. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 41 degrees Fahrenheit.
You're kidding.
Tonight, expect a low of 22 degrees. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too. It's apparently 41 degrees. Are you sure? It's hotter than my wallpaper. Ouch. Oh no, I'm mistaken. It's not actually like 4 pages. It's actually just 1 page until we get here. No, wait, 2. Sorry, I skipped ahead a little. I only have 2 pages, so I reached the chapter 3. It empties through a broad delta into the Mediterranean Sea of Tarragona. Navigation on the Ebro is severely restricted, not only because of the seasonal variations in the river's flow, but because many of the irrigation canals built upon it. Almost half of Spain's hydroelectric power is supplied by plants along the Ebro. Shouldn't they call it hydroplanto-electric? Other important rivers are the Dira, Gardena, and the Guadalval. I can't even read that. The Guadalval has been the country's most valuable river. It rises in southern eastern Spain and flows southward to the Gulf of Cadiz. Cadiz. Hey, can you Cadiz these Mentos? my breath smells like Miami. Bleh. Although it, I don't have any water. That is really nasty. Although it is only 350 miles long and is fed constantly by tributaries. It is navigable. I can't. Why? For ocean-going vessels as far as the Ville. That is like really gross. Why did I do that? I don't care that my mouth now smells like a bottle of Axe in Miami, but ew. Ew. Some 50 miles upstream, making that city of Spain's only major inland river port. Most of other rivers in Spain are characteristically short, local in character, and not dependable for irrigation. Along the entire Mediterranean coast from Barcelona south, for example, typical stream is almost bone dry. Why not bone wet? For a large part of the year, but stream beds that are nothing but a trickle can become raging torrents during the brief periods of rain and sudden melting of snow. Snow? Here? That's like Wakanda. Although Spain is noted, resources and vegetation. Although Spain is noted for extensive regions that are arid and sparse, it has a variety of natural vegetation and regions of rich, fertile soils. Oh, well, this is the last page. During the last glacial period, or the Ice Age, I'm talking The Adventures of Buck Wild, about 10,000 years ago. Are you sure? Are you sure that the Ice Age was 10,000 years ago? Maybe the mini one when Louis XIV or Louis was around. I heard about that in history class. Not this history class, but mine at the Westridge. Lower plains were covered in grasses and forests. Alpine vegetation was prominent in the uplands. But when the primitive tribes began cutting down the forest, the change upset the balance of nature. Oh, so that's why the Ice Age was 10,000 years ago, because people upset the balance of nature. Makes sense. The climate actually became warmer and drier. Ah, I got it. The forest receded to the north and northwest, and the alpine vegetation disappeared from all but the higher mountains. Even more damaging are the once fertile plains, was growth shrubby bushes intended to replace forest lands and push them even farther back. The cork, juniper, and the wild olive tree, which flourish over the Iberian Peninsula, can be found only in the more isolated regions along the coast. There's a photo. Oh, also here's a really good photo. We're at 24 minutes and 24 seconds. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's just like it's just like Miami. Dude, this looks like I like be like racing like Bajas in there. And I'm not talking about the drink from Taco Bell. I'm talking about like the game Baja on the Xbox. Woo! One of the most serious problems affecting the tree farming and the growing of outcrops has been the soil condition. Coarse-grained soil, often lacking in organic matter, predominates throughout Spain. Many of the highlands, such as Cantabrian Mountains, the firings in the Sierra Nevada, are composed of silt, sand, gravel, and other materials that lack nutrients. Even in the lowlands, plants can barely live in the silty sands. Silty sands. Okay, not just me. I don't play Fortnite, but Silty Sands sounds like a Fortnite map. Number 1 victory royale. As little as 10% of the country has finer grained soils suitable for agriculture, and even these tend to have clay or clay and sand but base. Unfortunately, some of the richest soils are in regions that are arid and require broad irrigation. Or else in salty marshlands as the lower valley of the Guadalquivir River. Some of the farmlands of the Meseta suffer from the presence of cavalleros, which cavalleros comes from the word cavo, meaning bald. These are barren stretches that are eroded with loose rock fragments scattered over the land that was once rich. Some soils too contain acids and the salt that restrict plant growth for the plants. And thus concludes Spain, Chapter 2. Man, I'm so happy I'm about to ascend. You know what? Here we are. Bye. Oh, what you doing down there? Oh, bye.